Who's got something to say?
Not me.
I'm willing to put in an hour.
Huh?
Great. You know, I heard a pretty good story last night. Yeah, this woman, she goes running into the doctor's office, right? Big old booty, ain't got no drawers on.
Excuse me, that's not why we're sitting here.
All right, then you tell me, what are we sitting in here for?
Well, maybe for no reason, I don't know, but look, this kid has been knocked around all of his life. He was born in a slum. He lost his mother when he was just, what, 9, and he spent a year and a half in an orphanage while his old man is doing a jail term for forgery. It's not a very good head start. He has had a rotten 18 years. I just think we owe that boy a few words, that's all.
Now, look, I don't mind telling you this, mister. Look, we don't owe him a thing.
That's right.
I mean, he had a fair trial, didn't he? What you think that trial cost? He lucky he got it. We're all grown-ups in here, I mean, and we heard the facts, now didn't we? Now, you're not gonna sit there and tell us we're supposed to believe this kid, knowing what he is. Look, I've lived among them all my life. I mean, you can't believe a word they say. They are born liars.
It suddenly occurs to me that you must be an ignorant man.
What are you talking about?
You think you have a monopoly on the truth?
Look, what are you making a federal case out of this for? Come on now, look, how you like this guy?
I think certain things should be pointed out to this man.
This isn't Sunday. We don't need a sermon in here.
I don't see any need for arguing like this. I think we ought to be able to behave like gentlemen if we are going to discuss this case.
Or maybe the gentleman who's disagreeing down there could tell us why. Tell us what he thinks, and we could show him where he's probably mixed up.
What are you doing?
What is that?
Well, it's one of the products I work on at the ad agency. Rice Pops, the breakfast with the built-in bounce. I wrote that line.
Oh, that's where that came from.
It's very catchy.
Do you mind?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just have this habit of doodling. It keeps me focused.
We're trying to do something here. We could be sitting here forever. That's right.
Well, look. I might have a little idea. I mean, I'm just thinking out loud, but it seems to me that it's up to us to convince this gentleman that we're right and he's wrong. Maybe if we each took a minute or two to explain how we feel, you know. It was just a quick thought.
No, that's good. Good. Suppose we go once around the table.
Anything. Just let's start it off.
Fine. Why don't you go first?
No, not me. I think we ought to go in order.
Okay, that's fair. In order. 2 minutes apiece. That means you go first.
Oh, well, well, it's hard to put it into words. I just think that he's guilty. I thought it was obvious from the word go, and nobody proved otherwise.
Nobody has to prove otherwise. The burden of proof rests with the prosecution. The defendant doesn't even have to open his mouth.
I know that. What I meant was the man is guilty. There was a witness. Somebody saw him do it.
Okay, here's what I think. And I have no personal feelings at all. I'm talking facts. Number one, let's take the old man who lived on the second floor directly underneath the room where the murder was committed. Now, he says that about 10 minutes after 12, the night of the killing, he heard a lot of noise upstairs, sounded like a fight, and he heard the boy yell out, "I'm going to kill you." A second later, a body hit the floor. He ran to his apartment door, looked out, saw the kid running down the stairs and out of the house. He called the police. They found the father with a knife in his chest.
And the coroner fixed the time of death around midnight.
That's right. Now, these are facts. You can't refute facts. This kid is guilty. Now, look, I'm as sentimental as the next guy. I know he's only 18, but he's got to pay for what he did.
I'm with you, Pops. It was obvious to me that the boy's entire story was flimsy. He claimed he was at the movies during the time of the killing, and yet, 1 hour later, he couldn't remember what films he saw, who played in them.
That's right. Did you hear that? That's absolutely right.
And no one saw him going into or out of the theater. I mean,
That's right.
ridiculous.
And what about the woman across the street? Now, if her testimony don't prove it, nothing does.
Could I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
You don't believe the boy. Why do you believe the woman? Isn't she one of them, too?
Oh, you just a real smart fella, aren't you? Oh, what you being so wise about, man? What's
What are you letting them get you all upset?
All right. We don't need none of that in here. Now, whose turn is it?
Yes, I...
All right, 2 minutes. I pass. What do you think?
He passes.
That's his privilege. How about the next gentleman?
I don't know. You know, I became convinced very early in the case. Excuse me.
Anyway, I put myself in the boy's place. Yeah, if I was that boy, I would have asked for another lawyer. I mean, if I'm on trial for my life, I would want my lawyer to take all of the prosecution's witnesses and just tear them to shreds, or try. Now look, there was one eyewitness to this killing, and someone else said that they heard it and then saw the boy running out later. There was a lot of circumstantial evidence, but those two witnesses were the entire case for the prosecution. Suppose they were wrong.
What do you mean, suppose they were wrong? What's the point of having witnesses at all?